This guy, man. Where you from? America, yeah?
Canada.
Oh, is it?
Apparently, I sound American. That's like.
I mean, to us, you know how it is, man.
Yeah, I know. It's fine. It's like
Yeah,
I can't tell the difference between I mean, I can tell like Irish from like.
Can we come here
Welsh,
a little bit? Because I think
probably.
the light will be better if we come just here. Is that right?
What?
Can we come just here a
Oh,
bit?
you want to film this now?
Yeah, that's all right. Thanks. How's it going? What's your name, man?
It's Max.
Max. My name's Mohammed.
Yeah. Good
Nice
to
to
meet
meet you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, you're Canadian, yeah?
Yeah.
What's the?
We lost the other guy.
Yeah, I don't know where he went.
Right.
Yeah, of course. Sorry. Sorry about that.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, my friend. Yes. He wants us to stop. You know, we just
That's cool.
no
We
problem.
can go like against the fence if you want.
No.
All right.
I don't like going against him. I'm joking. So, are you here for like? Are you a tourist here or?
Yeah, pretty much. I just wandered by.
Yeah. And so, what's your theological? Like, what are you theologically convinced with? You're an
I would
atheist.
say agnostic, I guess, because I said atheist earlier, but then some guys caught me in a logic trap, so agnostic fits better.
No, but it's a humble position, agnosticism, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
fair enough. No, I mean, it's good that I'm talking to you about this because what I wanted to say first and foremost is, let's ask the overall question, yeah? Before we talk about human beings, I heard you talking about like kind of evolutionary type things with the other gentleman, yeah?
Yeah.
But generally, I wanted to ask you, like, how do you explain us being here? How did the universe come into existence?
The most truthful answer I can give is that we don't have concrete evidence of any given means of creation of our universe yet.
Let me ask you a better question.
Okay.
Max, yeah?
Yeah.
This is the thing. This seriously, yeah?
All right.
Whenever I speak to atheists, it always boils, obviously, and rightfully so, down to the evidence, doesn't it, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your truth standard? What for you is sufficient evidence, generally speaking, in order for you to accept a thing?
In order for me to accept something as likely true, because I think if you have a truthful scientific view of the world, you'll never accept anything as 100% concretely true, right? Like, we've printed hundreds of thousands of books, and every single time we do it, we apply ink to a letter, and we press that letter into the page.
Yeah.
And so we print a word there. It is possible that one time when we apply ink to a letter and press it into a page, the book will spontaneously combust. I haven't seen it yet, you haven't seen it yet, but we can't say with 100% certainty that it couldn't happen, right? So
Yes.
what I'm operating from is a
Probabilistic.
theory basis. Yeah, so what I would accept as truth would be a body of research or evidence or a conversation that strongly suggests something. For instance, like, we believe that aircraft will fly every time we apply a given amount of thrust to a wing with a given shape because we've tested that hundreds of thousands of times, and every single time the aircraft takes off. It's possible that it won't one time, but the body of evidence suggests that it will.
Okay, I like that. I agree with that.
Okay.
Yes?
Yep.
So in short, what you're saying is you accept what you could say is a probabilistic type reasoning, yeah?
Yeah.
So based on likelihood, you assess whether a thing is true or false, generally speaking.
Likely or unlikely, I would
Yeah, likely or unlikely, and obviously that varies in proportions depending on what you're talking about, yeah?
Generally speaking, depending on the size of the sample for evidence. Right?
Okay.
So one experiment is a pretty weak proof. 100,000 experiments, fairly strong.
That's I agree with that, yeah? Very good. Now, let's apply this logic, because here what you've said is that you accept a probabilistic type reasoning, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's apply this to the universe and its construction or its creation or whatever you want to call it, yeah? Or its inception. My standard question to you would be then, how did the universe come into existence? What's your answer for that, first of all?
My answer is that we're still working on finding the truth of that,
Okay.
and that it's very difficult for us to find an absolute truth given the time scale that it occurred on. We have some theories that are looking increasingly likely, but we don't have an absolute answer. However, I don't believe that theists do either.
Okay, thank you. Now, you said you agree with the probabilistic type reasoning, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you accept that the universe is finely tuned?
Finely tuned?
And let me define what I mean
don't.
by finely tuned, yeah?
Okay.
What I mean by finely tuned is that the variables or the constants in terms of physics
Yeah.
are set in such a way as to allow any life to exist. This is my definition of finely tuned.
Okay. Now, I would refute that by saying that on most planets that we've observed directly, because there are a lot that we
No, but
haven't,
I'm not talking about planets. I'm talking about the universe generally.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
the universe generally is empty space. After that, it's ultra hot gas giants, it's black holes, it's stars.
Yeah. So
And
all of the constant. Yes.
An incomprehensibly small portion of it is suitable for some life. That's a far cry from finely tuned for life to exist.
No, that's not correct, because you can the question of whether life is fit to exist in the universe is a dichotomous question. So it's either yes or no. So I would ask you, is the universe tuned or finely tuned for any life to exist in it, you would answer by saying yes or no. And if you say no, you have to substantiate that in the light of the evidences. No. Because if there's any kind of life that exists in the universe, no matter how small or insignificant in your eyes, that disproves your thesis. Do you understand the point?
I don't believe that to be true, but for the sake of continuing this discussion, I'll accept that a portion
but-
of the universe is a good location for life.
No,
to
but
occur.
let's not just for the sake of this argument, because
Yeah.
what you've done here is you've given me no reason. Here we know that life exists on this universe, yes or no?
Well, yeah, we're standing here,
Okay.
aren't we?
We know that the universe facilitated that in terms of its constants and its physical properties, yes or no?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Now, where the life exists, how much life exists in terms of quantity, these are peripheral questions or additional questions or supplementary questions. They don't affect the question at hand, which is, does the universe or is the universe finely tuned for any kind of life to exist? And I'm not honing in on human beings and saying that human beings here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm
Life
saying
in
any
general,
kind of life to
Does
exist.
the universe allow life to exist?
Yes, that's the question. Thank you very much. Now, according to the majority, it's almost a consensus in science now, yeah, in terms of physics, that physicists, whether they be agnostic, atheistic, or theistic, acknowledge the fine-tuning of the universe. Now, Stephen Hawking says this in The Brief History of Time. Even Richard Dawkins says this. Many different people, obviously Martin Rees, who wrote the book Just Six Numbers, many different individuals, they make this claim, okay? My point is, when they say this, what they're effectively saying is that the constants in terms of physics are so finely tuned, had they been otherwise adjusted, the universe would not allow any kind of life to exist. And therefore, me and you couldn't have this conversation. Does this make sense so far?
Yeah, if the universe was tuned in such a way that life couldn't exist in it, then life wouldn't exist in it. That's true, but it's also kind of an end in itself.
Okay, now my question is, probabilistically, because this was obviously
Yeah, an argument from probability.
your
And from
argument
proof.
for probability. This was your original point,
Yeah.
wasn't it? So, probabilistically now, I'm asking you a very simple question. What is the probability that the universe could have randomly allowed for human life to, or any life to exist?
So this is like, could the room full of monkeys with typewriters eventually write Shakespeare thing, right?
No, because
Well, no, it is. It's the same argument. I mean, it's different constituent parts, but it's the same core argument. So obviously
it's
the
not-
probability is
the only
quite high.
difference-
No.
Sorry.
Let me answer your question.
Yes, of
directly.
course, sorry,
The
go ahead.
probability is
Yes.
necessarily
Yes.
high enough for that to occur, because if you accept that the universe is more or less infinite, right?
no.
You don't.
I-
You think there's an edge?
Well, do you think that the universe didn't have a beginning?
It may or may not have.
Wait, hold on, because now you're moving away from the scientific evidences. The majority of scientists clearly believe in the Big Bang and clearly believe in the expanding universe model.
That is not true. Those are both theories.
No, but do you not
And
believe in
a
that?
great number of scientists
No, that's
accept
fine.
them.
I'm not saying that you're compelled. I'm just saying it's fine. I'm just saying you don't have to accept those things.
Okay, so here's the thing. You asked me if I believe that, like, what the probability is that the universe, when just interacting randomly with itself, would produce the conditions.
That wasn't
necessary
what I
for
said,
life.
by the way.
No. Okay. Clarify.
I said, generally speaking, I didn't say interacting randomly with myself. That wasn't an insertion I made, Max.
Okay.
I said, generally speaking, the inception of the universe, yeah? Upon the inception, if you obviously believe in an inception or beginning of the universe, which you're
don't
saying
know
you
that I
don't.
do.
Yeah, which you're saying you don't. But,
Well, no, I'm not saying I don't or I do. I'm saying I don't know.
okay, fine, that's fair enough. That's a fair enough position. Max, that's a fair enough position. But what I'm saying is, you're saying, and you wanted to presuppose here, for this conversation to continue, that the universe existed for an infinitely long amount of time. Now I'm saying, what's the proof for that? Since you're the one who's asking for proof, generally, I'm also in my right to ask you for your proof.
Sure. We don't have any proof based on carbon dating or any other scientific means that really extends much beyond the borders of this planet and maybe some adjacent ones. Like, as I understand it, we've taken soil samples from Mars, we've taken soil samples from the Moon. And in both of those cases, the soil samples that we took were able to be carbon dated back a certain amount of time. However, we didn't take deep core samples of the Moon or Mars, so we can't rightly say at this point in time whether we know as an absolute truth how old either one of those bodies are. Now, keep in mind, we've
That's
only
good.
touched 2 celestial bodies in our solar system, which is
That's
a limited
good.
part of a galaxy, so on and so forth. So, obviously, no scientist in their right mind would claim to have absolute knowledge of the beginnings of the universe. All we have are theoretical models.
Okay, thank you very much. But you're now presupposing a beginning of the universe? Because what you said, just to summarize what you've said there, is that you don't have any evidences or proof to suggest that the universe was here for an infinite amount of time. That's what you said.
I certainly don't have proof.
Okay, you don't have proof. So that's the thing. To be honest with you here, Max,
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you. Yeah? You seem like a very genuine guy, yeah?
Sure.
You seem to be deviating away from the principle that you've laid down for yourself. In the beginning of this conversation, I said to you, what is your standard of truth? What kind of thing would you accept? Yeah, of course, yes, explore the world.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, generally speaking,
Yeah.
in the beginning you said that my standard of truth is a probabilistic one.
Yeah.
Yes? Based on evidences, you compile the evidences together and come to conclusions based on that evidences, based on those evidence or that data or those sets of data, on whether you think something is probable or not probable.
Sure.
Okay. And then in the same breath or in a later statement, you said that I don't have any evidences for the fact that the universe was around for an infinite amount of time.
Yeah,
So this
especially
is,
if we confine it to me as a person standing here right now, but in a more general sense, in terms of what I've learned, we do not have concrete evidence one way or the other.
thank you very much. Okay, so if that's the case, why would you put that as a presupposition? It's very odd. So why would you assume that the universe here existed forever? I've showed you that the universe has a 99.9 recurring percent chance of not coming about randomly, which would necessitate that it has to have come about non-randomly, which would necessitate a organized force. And you're saying that you don't want to believe that. So this is I personally believe, is intellectual dishonesty. Because that was your own standard.
Yeah.
And that's why you call it a trap. But why call it a trap? It's not a trap. You're in a
I
trap.
think I did actually. Let's back up a step.
Believe that much. 99% is not easy number.
No, hang on.
What makes you believe that?
Hang on. One sec. I realized I made a mistake.
Okay. Okay. Listen, Max, I think the best thing to do is me and you have a conversation off cameras, because I think there's a feeling that we're doing it for the sake of the audience. So we'll do it maybe.
Well, let me just dismantle that really quick.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a bunch of cameras if you weren't doing it for the sake of an audience. So
I'm doing it for the sake. I'm doing it for the sake of the audience. I want the audience to be acquainted with the arguments, and I want an interlocutor to provide the devil's advocate position. And you've done a good job in doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that if you want to do it afterwards as well, we can do it afterwards as well.
I may.
All right, we'll talk about it. You're invited to dinner. We're going to break our fast after.
All right, you're up, buddy.
Thanks for watching Deen Canada. Like and follow us on Facebook. If you don't, I might come looking for you. Anyways, we have some big projects coming up, inshallah. Everything from documentaries, exclusive stories, vlogs, events, and fascinating interviews with people across the country. Finally, a media platform for Muslims in Canada. Whether it's responding to Islamophobia or misconceptions, our vision is to help give dawah, empower, and mobilize the community. Thanks for liking us at facebook.com/DeenCanada. Jazakumullahu khair wa barakallahu feekum.